Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You're here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey, Trish. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. That's it for a Monday.
Well, that's not bad. I feel a little bit off because I'm doing this on my new tablet and it has me on the opposite side from where I normally am with you. So I don't know if that shows to everybody else, but
I don't
I
know.
feel backwards. I feel inverted.
Yeah, it just throw you off a little bit. I know. I sort of reconfigured the office here for like the fourth time during the pandemic, and it's still like I'm still trying to figure it out, like what I'm doing here. It's because it's a different setup. Yeah, throws you off a little bit.
It does. I think somebody needs to write about that because I'm the same way. I'm thinking about moving my office again because I think as the seasons change and the sun goes into a different position on the house, and
Yeah,
I don't know, it just feels like you need to kind of change up where you're doing all of these Zoom meetings and so forth.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of people, and I'm partially guilty of this, got into the work from home setup like overkill with the lights and everything and the monitors. I was like looking at, I guess it was just LinkedIn, somebody's LinkedIn update, some random person who was, people go on LinkedIn and say, oh, here's my, I'm so excited for my new job, right? And so this person posts about her new job, and the job was like HR business partner, just a normal HR job. And she had her picture of her work from home setup. And it was like a tablet mounted, an iPhone mounted, a laptop, three giant external monitors, like arrayed across this huge desk. Like, what is your job? HR business partner? Or are you like a drone pilot or like a day trader? It was like the most over the top work from home setup for just a normal job, right? That I've seen yet.
Oh, no.
It's insane.
You know what? That makes me think, as you were describing it, I was picturing, this is going to go back probably 3 or 4 years. Do you remember we were at Oracle Open World a few years ago?
Sure.
And they were showing kind of their vision of the smart office.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which that's sort of what you're describing, right? A little lower tech, but still that idea of like being completely surrounded by screens and all these different things that are showing you different bits of important information when you need it. And
yeah,
when is that happening?
I couldn't imagine like why you would need all that stuff to like send emails and things like that, which is a lot of what people do, right? In these types of jobs. But
you know what? We're going to be talking with Yvette Cameron soon from Oracle, so I think we should ask her about that. We need to like plant that little seed. So Yvette, we want to talk about smart offices and what Steve's describing. Is that really needed right now at home or not? I think you're right. I think if you looked at mine, I have the huge box lights. I mean, you would think I'm a professional photographer, videographer, something like that. And of course, now I'm actually dialing in from the road. So I'm in a hotel room and I'm in Colorado. I went to Hot Springs. Have you ever done Hot Springs before?
I have not.
They are amazing. You absolutely need to try it. Yeah. So anybody out there, if you've done it, let me know. Like if you have any tips and tricks. I think my takeaway is you need to bring your own robe so that when you go from spring to spring, like jumping into each one, you would have like a nice cozy robe to put on.
Yeah, that sounds awful. But yeah, good. Glad you had fun.
It was not awful. It was like 107 degrees looking at the mountains. It was beautiful. Beautiful in Colorado. So, yeah, I'm a fan.
Good. So I just had one or two little quick notes. One is I saw that Petco, Trish, the pet company, is working on some new return to work resources for employers who want to make their workplaces more pet friendly. Because and I didn't get all the notes down, but there was one stat they had in their announcement. They estimated there were 3 million new pets adopted, quote unquote, into people's homes during the pandemic, because a lot of people, right, got a new dog or a cat or whatever type of pet, right, to sort of help get through the pandemic, because you were home more and had more time to train a puppy, say, for example, et cetera. And their point was that all these millions of new pets, for the most part, have not experienced being left alone all that much, because
no, they haven't.
We've been home so much as well, and there's going to be some issues transitioning. I was fascinated. All the things that are going to be like difficult and challenging for the return to work thing. I never thought about this one. I never thought this was a thing. And of course, Petco is pushing this as a thing because that's, in their best interest as a pet supplies type company. But yeah, I wonder if that's going to be a true thing. Like if you adopted a puppy, say a year ago, right? And now that dog's been with you for a year and you've been home pretty much every day. And now you've got to get up and go to work 4 or 5 days a week or whatever the case may be. I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
Oh, I think it already is. Absolutely. I think the few people I've talked to that have had puppies, they are saying as they go and work either more or, outside the home a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I know even for me, mine are very, I mean, obviously I worked from home before, but not to this level, right? Normally we would have been traveling every week at this point. My dogs are much more connected to me. I mean, they want to be physically touching me at all times of the day. And I found that I've started using on YouTube, they have all these different people who are posting like, anti-pet anxiety music and 15 hours of, dog TV and cat TV and so forth. So it works. Truly, like I put that on when I'm leaving and it feels like the dog, I come back and they haven't torn everything up. So that's a good thing, right?
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it'd be cool though. Hopefully that'll be a thing. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting, like over the next few months to see. I just do feel that pendulum's moving more towards more leaders, quote unquote, are going to try to drag more people into offices than really want to be there, at least full time.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I had one other data point. This is from a Prudential survey. It's called The Pulse of the American Worker. Came out a week or two ago. 42% of employees surveyed said, I'm reading this, if their company does not offer remote work options long term, they will leave and look for a company that does. 42%.
Really?
I think that number could even be higher.
And who did that study?
Prudential.
MetLife?
Yeah, Prudential.
Oh, Prudential.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that seems high.
Yeah, you think? I think it's pretty consistent with a lot of what I've seen. Like, It does seem to be kind of a quarter or so people on either end of the continuum. Like a quarter of people want to go back to work pretty much like they used to before. A quarter of people don't really ever want to go back. They just want to be remote. And about half the people want some sort of blended option or hybrid option, right? Of some person.
I agree. I agree that I think there's that high of a percentage that want that, but whether or not they would actually leave their job for it, I wonder. That's where I think it gets a little iffy. Would you actually quit?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you can't have hybrid, would you quit?
There's some crazy, interesting labor market dynamic stories coming up this year. I read 4 or 5 pieces over the weekend, Trish, of retail, fast food, some other types of service companies, restaurants that can't find people to work. Like there's a lot, like
I think that's absolutely true.
They're trying to get their business back. The capacity restrictions maybe are lifted in certain places, and they can't find people to work. And there's a real kind of fierce debate going on here in the U.S. about, with minimum wages and enhanced unemployment benefits being as they were, and like some of these employers offering jobs that would pay people less than they could actually make, with their unemployment. But it's interesting. I don't know.
That's reality. The enhanced, all of the supplemental funds that have gone throughout the last year to people, I think that's definitely going to prevent, some of the companies that are offering minimum wage from getting workers. Absolutely. Because there's not an incentive to go and make less money than what you're making on unemployment. No.
And the other thing that's really interesting in the labor market too, is some of the huge employers, Amazon, Target, Costco, right? Real massive employers. They've already raised their minimum wages. Yes. The minimum wage at Amazon is $15 already, no matter what the job is, right? And so those huge companies that can, quote unquote, afford to raise those wages, they're putting a lot of pressure on the smaller shops, right? That maybe think that they can't. That's happening too.
Well, and I think that's why those companies did that when they did that, right? They anticipated there was going to be a shortage of actual workers, and so they went ahead and put that in place. So now they can say they've been doing it. It's not something new. And some people, I'm not saying I agree with this, but some people are making the argument that, right, we don't need any kind of federal minimum wage increase because the labor market itself is driving wages up and will continue to do that. Like the market will do it. Currently, yes. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really thought much about long term, but yes, I think you're right. I think the labor market's going to design what the wages are going to be. Well, good stuff. It sounds like you had just a joyous weekend with all of your data. Yes, I spent all the weekend barbecuing and thinking about minimum wages. Good stuff. Well, listen, hey, everyone, thanks for checking in with us on a Monday. We hope your week is off to a good start. Let us know what is on your mind. Be sure to tweet us, DM us, email us, snail mail us, whatever, right? That would be fun. I have not had a letter in a long time. We need to put like some snail mail information out there,
Yeah, I
Steve.
don't know. I don't have any stamps.
People could write in. People used to write into shows, right?
I
Send
think,
a letter,
yeah, I think they
a
must have done that.
postcard, something. All right, we'll have to try that for next time. All right, well, listen, everyone. You can find us where you find all your favorite podcasts, HR Happy Hour Network. We actually have a new show out there from our friend Madeline Lorano. It's getting some good traction. It's some new research she just published late last week, so go check that out. We have some new shows up from Steve and I as well, and I hear we have one coming from George Larac very
posted
soon.
this morning, today, Trish, as a matter of
Oh,
fact.
did it? Did it
Yeah.
post already? There you go.
With your Market Watch.
Perfect. Well, I haven't even listened to it yet, so that's now I know what I've got on my schedule for the rest of the day. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll catch you back here on Wednesday.